Hey everyone, so we're here getting ready to just film our next YouTube video for everyone, and there was a lot of people, especially on Instagram when we did our poll, that the main thing it sounds like you guys want to see is how-to videos. So that's what we've got for you today. We're going to be building a mold on our table here for a coffee table actually. It's a pretty small coffee table. It's about like 5 feet long, about 2.5 feet wide, but it's going to get a resin river down the middle. These here, check out, those are actually the slabs. So we've got 2 pieces there of Clara walnut, and they're gonna get a translucent gray river right down the middle. So I'm gonna try and give everyone tips and tricks on how we build the mold, how we seal it, and then I also wanna give you some tips on how we keep our resin cool, which is with this aluminum table here. And we also happen to be in our new pour room. So this, if you look around, you can see it's a lot bigger than it was before. Go over here. This line on the floor, you can actually like see the line. This dirty part versus the clean part. The dirty part was from the old pour room, so you can see it was very small, and now we've just doubled the size. So we've got 2 pouring tables in here right now, but we're gonna be building another so we can increase our production. On these pour tables here, you can see we've actually got the bottom is made from aluminum. You can hear it, and then we've got a thin sheet of plastic taped over top of the aluminum, and now we're just actually going to be taping down this other piece, this thicker piece of plastic on top. So we just use tuck tape, right? Like we just cut a little strip like this. We'll stick it down on the top, make sure it's all nice and flat. Get the tape out of my mouth, and then we'll just kind of pull it with a little bit of pressure and wrap it down. So our goal with this here is just to try and completely flatten out all of the plastic on there, and the plastic's actually what lets the whole thing release without sticking. So what we're doing right now is I am just putting down a nice, pretty good sized bead of silicone all the way along the bottom of this mold piece. And essentially what this does, it's not only gonna hold our mold in place, but it's also gonna prevent any leaks. Like when we first started doing these, we would just coat the pieces in tape and we would just screw everything together and kind of cross our fingers and hope it didn't leak. But we found that with the silicone, it just stops every leak. And then you'll see after we've got this down, once we have our bead of silicone along the bottom and we flip it over, we actually run another bead on the inside just so that anything that somehow did find its way through and managed to leak, we're not gonna be affected by that. Now that we've got the outside of the mold built, what we're gonna wanna do is lift these slabs right on out of there. And the reason we're taking the slabs out now is so we can hit that inside edge with silicone like I mentioned. Right now we're just putting down some strongbacks, or what we call them. Essentially these are just clamped over top of the mold so that we can make sure it's gonna stick down to the bottom. Just these clamps, then we've got these braces on the bottom side of our table. Tightening? Yeah. Okay, let's go. And we just clamp these braces just so we don't have any gaps between the table and the MDF. Those will sit now. The last thing we're gonna do here is we're just gonna run a final bead along all the inside seams so that it just can't leak out. Okay. Now we're into the last step here. Dennis is just going around, and we did the inside already. Now we're just doing a bead on the outside. It might not be 100% necessary. Like you could probably get away with just doing the inside, but it's just better safe than sorry. We just like to put as much silicone as we can. So this will sit like this overnight, and then when we come back in the morning, we're gonna take these braces off, lift the slabs in, and then actually put the braces back on. So we'll leave everything to dry, and we're gonna pour tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day. We've now, if you check it out, we've got the slabs lifted in. So they're in the actual orientation that we're gonna wanna have them to pour. And then we've just got these, like I said, we call them our strongbacks, and they're clamped to the bottom of the table. But now, instead of them just being used to hold the mold down, we've actually got these little blocks that they contact the slab on one side, they contact the strongback on the other side. And this is actually what prevents the piece from floating. Like we did our first pieces that we did, like with this style, we we put them in the mold and we didn't silicone them down, we didn't clamp them down. And it was like a 30-liter pour. We did our pour, everything was good, and then the slab actually floated right up to the top of the surface. So that was stressful. Luckily we were able to clamp it down, but if you put these blocks, that's not gonna happen. We're done the pour. It was about 30 liters that we ended up pouring in here. The mold's all built. Looks like there's no leaks yet, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. But I'll just kind of recap what we've done here and all the different systems that we have in place to make this work. So the first thing that was really crucial to the whole part of this is having that bottom aluminum table, because that's going to remove all of the heat that's generated from the chemical reaction. The next thing that we did is we laid our piece of plastic over top, taped it down, made sure it was really tight so that we get no creases. After that, we taped up all of our pieces for the form. We measured how big we want to cut them. We cut the end pieces to the same width as our piece, and then the longer pieces, they can just hang right off. Then we actually screwed everything together and sealed it down with silicone on the bottom. Once that was together, we went along the inside and we did a bead of silicone along the inside. And then actually following that, we did another bead of silicone all the way along the outside. So it should be leak proof. There's basically no way that I could think of that this could leak. And the final thing we have in place is new for us. This gizmo right here is our temperature control. So there's actually a thermometer in there that's pointing down and reading the temperature of the resin. And you can see it's connected with a cord, which follows right into the computer. And on the computer here, we've got our object temperature, which is actually the resin, this top one here. We've got our ambient temperature, which is the temperature of the room. We've got a bunch of stuff that I don't even know what it means. Then we've got how long it's been since the pour. And then we have a graph that just shows all the changes in temperature. So that's our process for doing a resin pour. You know, we're constantly learning, so I'm not saying it's the best or the only way to do it, but you know, with our couple years of experience doing this is what we found to just be the best way to do it. But thanks to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate you watching. We're gonna have weekly videos every Friday that we're gonna try and upload, and we've got some really cool ideas coming up for some future ones, even to get you guys involved in the videos. So have a good one.